Hello there! Welcome back to SiDEQUEST. It has been a while, hasn't it?
It has.
A year? Yeah.
So, we have a bit of news for you, dear viewers. We are now involved with the planning and production and so on and so forth of Legends Con 2 this coming March 2025. So we've it's been great getting in contact with everybody from that crew. This all spiraled out. Like, reach out to people. You'll be surprised what things can occur. Alas, yeah. What would you guys like to discuss first about our little upcoming venture into that area?
Let's go down the line. What does Legends Con mean to you? I'm going to be the conductor really quick. What does the Legends Con 2 mean to you? As far as like just their missions, I know what I would say about their mission. I love what they're doing. They're trying to promote all of these authors that came up with the original Star Wars content. Pre-Disney buyout. 30 years worth of content that's out there, and I mean, unless you know it, like, you're not going to know it today if you're growing up, unless somebody's giving it to you or they're trying, to suggest it or whatever. So that's what Legends Con is doing, is it's trying to promote all this material, and the artists too, and the authors. So all these guys who put down their lives to create the content that Disney is now using. I mean, if you look at like Tales of the Jedi and stuff like that, like, where did that come from? That's all Legends. That's Legends, and you're using it to make new content, which is good. But these guys and these gals, they need to, be given support, and they need to be given recognition for what they've done. And so that's what Kyle and his team are trying to put together with Legends Consortium. And we get to be there for Legends Con 2, baby! March 15th through 16th. It'll be out there on the internet. Everybody will be able to see what's going on and all the panels with these authors, and it'll go on from there. So that's what it means for me. It means that people are going to be uplifted, and that you'll have an opportunity, and that men and women who've kind of forged the path ahead of us younger artists, like, we get to kind of follow in their footsteps. That's pretty romantic. That's Star Wars at its core, is it not? A young knight following in his father's footsteps, or his mentor's footsteps, or whatever, and doing his own. That's what we're doing. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's it for me. What about for you?
You certainly have a way with words. So for me, they're I know I'm very excited to meet a lot of all these authors and well, for example, I'll just list them out to begin with. First is Kevin J. Anderson. He's written quite a few comics and novels and edited a few, I believe. The first thing I read with him, he was the pilot for Tales of the Bounty Hunters. There was some good stuff there I quite liked. Then there was John Whitman, who he did from the 90s kids. Do you remember Goosebumps? So Star Wars did kind of their version of that with Galaxy of Fear. It's one of a few times that Star Wars tried to follow a trend, so to speak. And I know I've met a lot of people who quite liked those books growing up, but I've still yet to read them. But I've heard that a lot of people were really freaked out by the whole, because obviously horror inspirations. Next is let's see, Daniel Wallace, who I'm very excited to meet. He's one of the like giant continuity nerds in terms of like he wrote all the essential guides, Essential Guide to Warfare, Essential Droids, Essential Chronology, and other like source book stuff like Jedi Path, Book of Sith, Bounty Hunter Code. Like I read those, I devoured those over and over and over again. Like I those and the visual dictionaries are among my favorite pieces of EU media. Next up is Troy Denning, very famous sci-fi author. What did he do? He did I think he did one of the new Jedi Order books, and then like a lot of Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi stuff. So wait, Ted, you said you've been researching all the authors and whatnot, right? What do you have?
Well, this is for the audience. You better leave this on. This is the third take because I keep saying stuff that I'm not supposed to say because, I guess there is. That's the importance about life, guys, is knowing what you can and can't say. All right, listen. No, I'm excited about the guys who are going to be there because I don't know who they are, but I'm getting the opportunity to meet them, and I know the work that they've done. I understand the importance of the work they've done. I am waiting to study these people, kind of like you're going on a date, right? Like I've got all this work I got to do before I can get to the date. We met on Tinder, and now we're having to get to the point of the date. I got all this work I got to do before I get to the date. But when I get to the date, you can guarantee that I'm going to know everything I need to know about talking to you and trying to romance the situation, which is what I'm hoping for because that's what will make it magical. And then, that is hopefully the experience for everybody that wants to go to Legends Con is you don't have to know these people. They're charming. And just look at what the work they've done. To have the recognition of I built in the Star Wars universe and it was official and I don't know. Do you need to talk to George himself? I want to go talk to these people. That's what it's the romance of finding something new that's already there and all that kind of stuff. It's I don't know. Uncovering a gem. Okay. Yeah, it is. Enough. If this keeps going, how many more gems?
You prefer the excitement of uncover. You're not one of the. See, I'm a pre-planner. You're a dive-in type of. Is that what?
No, I'm a pre-planner for the dating. I know how I want to romance you. I want to take you to this place and I want to show you this thing and I want to give you this much space and do all that kind of stuff. But the magic of talking with people and then that conversation just flowing naturally, that's the romantic part. And I do I want to read their works. Their works are probably the thing that you would actually sit there and you'd really take a look at, because then I have a lot to base your character off of. Now I can sit there and read the Wikipedia on each of these people and have just a little set list of stuff, and maybe I would do that, but honestly I don't think I would. I think I would just look at the work and then all of their personal stuff, like your height, your where you were born. I'm just going to ask you that naturally. I'd be honestly interested in that moment. I don't want to be stalking kind of to a degree and oh, you're famous, or I'm trying to get something out of, which is I think the problem that might arise in these kinds of situations with these authors who have gone on to do all this stuff, is that we as the younger people who are trying to promote them, we need to make sure that we're not doing it just to I need to get a piece of your fame. I need your fame to rub off on me. It shouldn't be the point of it. It should be, we're doing this because we love you and we want to know how you did it and teach us. Honestly, if these people don't want that, at least the adoringness of just people who appreciate what you did to get something that I love to the point where I could consume it and so on and so forth. It's almost like a city. Each person adds to the city and the city grows and becomes more beautiful. And, there's the temple of whatever, there's the forum of whatever, there's the, and all these people put in all this dedication and work into it, and you get to go appreciate it. And that is what we should be celebrating, is everything that they've put into it. But then I want to know, and I want if I could be your friend, I want to be your friend, honestly and legitimately. Can we go get a drink? Can we go get a dinner? Can we just talk about your life? Because it interests me. And it is like you could say this about everybody in life, right? But really, can you? How many people can you genuinely like? You do something that I would give my arm to do, right? And you get the opportunity to study underneath them or something like that, or at least promote them and show them that you love them. Like that's what it's about. And everybody has their own community, and the cross pollination is where it all works, right? So you have all these strong communities like the Mercs and LC, and it's all underneath of this one genre, and that genre is underneath of one bigger genre, and then it just goes all the way up to humanity. And so that's the cool part. It starts to, but you can find people that you really want to like look after, and then go forward with that. I think that's that's what Legends Con's going to be, and for the younger people too. More younger people.
Well, I think in the vein of friends, I think we do need to mention John Bongiorno.
Oh yes.
And his friendship with us, which has led to our ability to participate in Legends Con. And of course, he wrote Supernatural Encounters, a fascinating book. I encourage people to read it. It is over 3,000 pages. I'm 1,000 pages in. I am now doing what some raptor said I would end up doing, which is I'm reading with Wikipedia open on the computer and Wikipedia, excuse me, on the computer, and I'm reading and I'm looking, and then I got to look this up, and then I got to look that up, and so we do want to mention John for sure.
Joe. But yeah, no, yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess we kind of skipped ahead. I was yeah, no, there's yeah, Joe Bongiorno. Because yeah, I guess
you're still going down the list.
To elaborate, yeah, I guess this all ended up, spiraling out.
That's the excitement of it. Like, wait. What we should argue? Let's do this really quick for the audience. Like, how many people have we listed now? Out of the panelists that are going to be there?
Well, 4 out of the 7. Wait.
4 out of the 7? Yeah. Okay, so let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. Who's next? Shannon, perhaps?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Yes. Next, I guess there's Shannon McRandall. She, if you've ever seen a depiction of Mara Jade Skywalker from post 1998, I'd like to say, it's based on her. She because she's a model who was for Star Wars Insider magazine, I believe. They were like, hey, let's we want a visual portrayal for Mara, and then that came about, and she's pretty cool from what I've heard. She's been very receptive to the fan base that because I mean, Mara, besides maybe Thrawn and Revan are probably amongst expanded universe characters is probably the most popular, or has become the most iconic symbol for expanded universe / legend / whatever you want to call it. But I get okay. Well, I guess we got a little twisted on the yeah, we flowed from one thing to another, and then yes, there's of course the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Bongiorno. Our involvement in all this actually kind of spiraled out from my channel. I did an interview with him, talking about the release of Supernatural Encounters. This isn't self-promotion. No.
Yeah. No. Yes, it was. But you know what? It is true. It's the truth. So keep going.
Sure.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, look. Isn't that the whole point of what this all is? Is self-promotion and cross-pollination and the promotion of others. I think we gotta stop tippy-toeing around that. It's like money. Money's used as such a dirty word. There's a great show, aside from the nudity, it's called Those About to Die. If you can get past the obscene sex and the nudity, it's pretty good. But one of the things is money's such an ugly word. It shouldn't be. And it's not. It's a tool. And so is promotion. And so, because isn't that what we want? Do people want to be like in a gutter Or like, do you want to like work with each other and get out of a gutter? I'd rather get out of a gutter. Gutters are nasty. Okay.
I would agree with
Promote
you.
yourself. Promote yourself.
Go ahead and make a plug for yourself, some Raptor.
I mean, this is episode 38. What I think, at least of the ones we've recorded. I don't think anybody watching this
okay,
hasn't already seen my stuff. But regardless,
there's a plan.
Regardless, our final announced guest at Legends Con is Barbara Hambley, famous for the Children of the Jedi, I want to say, series, Planet of Twilight.
She's a big win.
Yeah, and because I believe long before she did stuff for Star Wars, she did stuff for Star Trek, unless I'm mistaken. And to my understanding, that was something a lot of people like kind of criticized about her books, that they felt more like Star Trek books. But as I talked to Mr. Bongiorno about, there's in a setting like Star Wars, there's space for all the pun, for all sorts of story. Like I don't understand that criticism, because people say, oh, there was Death Troopers, it's a horror thing set in Star Wars, great. There was so why wouldn't there be space for a more trippy sci-fi thing in Star Wars? So I'd quite like to get her perspective on a lot of stuff. Apologies if you hear stuff in the background. My chinchilla is drinking water. And I lost my train of thought. And I give the mic back to you guys.
It's a loud drinking chinchilla.
Well, I am excited. I have to say, from the bottom of my heart to the top of my heart, somebody who read Splinter of the Mind's Eye, if anybody remembers that, I am excited beyond belief, really, that I'm going to get the opportunity to go and see these legends, hear them speak, perhaps meet some of them in person. I'm beyond excited. On a personal note, I even have a tie-in to this, because I have a friend who was the editor of all of the essential guides done with Diane Wallace. So, yeah.
What? You never told us this.
Yeah.
Hold on. What?
Yes. His name's Steve Sappho. And
really?
He's been in the comic and published book area of comics and sci-fi for our entire, I guess I can give a little brief note. Steve and I met in high school in a little tiny town called Morgantown, West Virginia. And we met because we used to go to the comic shop and we'd sit on the floor and read comics. And so we got to talk. He was older than me. And we started talking, and we dreamed about the most famous, and for us, the most wonderful comic character, Captain America, and what it would be like to work for Marvel and work on Captain America. And Steve went ahead and did that, and then branched out, and he was the editor of the Essential Guides. So he did all of them.
Wow.
And
how did you never tell us this before? That's amazing.
I don't know. I don't share friends' information, I guess, that comfortably, but Steve, Steve's fine with it. So he's hoping to be there as well, so that he can share his friendship with Dan and their work efforts on doing the Essential Guides. So.
Wow, that's awesome. I never knew that. That's wow. I have no word but wow.
So I'm excited beyond belief.
Yeah, man. Well, and yeah, it'll be a chance for us to meet IRL too, because I'm not doxing where we all live, but it's a ways.
Brett.
Which was it's a trip.
Well, and actually that brings me to something else. I'm quite excited to meet, besides the actual quote unquote celebrities, like the proper guests there. Like I just want to meet, other fans, other enthusiasts of, because one thing I may have said this on the show before, because it's like, you're talking to someone, like in my experience at least, like you talk to someone, it's like I like Star Wars, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, yeah, we got something in common to talk about. You meet somebody who's into expanded universe stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, you're hardcore, we're definitely gonna get along, you're probably on the same level of derangement as me, so let's go.
Exactly.
All a matter of perspective.
From a certain point of view.
Precisely.
So, I guess we're down to Ted. We're going to start a new segment where we're going to talk about our in-game efforts, and Ted's going to fill us in on how the 121st has been doing, and just give us a real quick recap. For those of you who play Star Wars: The Old Republic, we have a guild, the Fighting 121st, and we help other players and people who are getting new to the game and people who have been in the game for a while, and also ourselves. So, Ted?
You guys want to know about what the 121's been up to?
Yes.
Oh, well, let's see here. So, if you play Star Wars: The Old Republic and you are looking for a guild to get into, that is something that's going to happen weekly, something without fail, and you're going to have fun with people that are very, very kind, like-minded, polite, all that kind of stuff. That's what we've been doing with the 121. Recently, we've been developing another, I guess you would say, content expansion. We've been actually working on that for the past 2 years, but it's come to the point in game where we have enough of a following with the 121 that we could actually put it into action. We had planned on doing this also about 2 years ago in 2020, I want to say in 2022, we had accomplished this with the guild, and you'll actually see this on our website. It's part of our story that we had raised a guild to high prominence in the game, and they had like 3,000, 2,000 something members or whatever. And it was going very, very well to create an in-game senate and a dark council that would basically just be a body of representatives from across all the various guilds that would meet together and discuss how to make the game more fun from a player point of view. And then, of course, let the devs just develop and do what they were doing in order to make the game better. So we're at a point where we're strong enough to do that.
It's not just some kind of role play thing. It's like it's a.
Oh yeah, it's a serious organization of just fun, because ultimately this game is so big that one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to have people that love it, stay in it forever, or you're going to have people that get lost in it and will never come back. Now, even the people that love it and stay in it will get bored, because there's just not enough for the game to give you that hype every single time. Now, PvP works. PvE, like sitting in there and just going out there and doing adventures and end game and all that kind of stuff, that gives you a hype. But if you beat them all, what's the next best thing? The next best thing is community, because that's why you join a guild. That's why you become a leader of a guild. That's why you make your own guild, all these kind of things. You want to be something more in the game. And so, we figured, okay, well, we've seen guilds do this before, where you'll get together and you'll collaborate to make events and all this kind of stuff. Just do it on a big scale. And we did. We wanted to fund that, and we did. We funded it, and it went very, very well. But what we did learn is that life has a lot of up and downs. And so you get to it at the end of the day, if people aren't, tied into it for good, things can happen where leadership basically just has to go. And that is just how life is, right? People come and go. And so as soon as the leadership structure breaks down, everything will break down. That's the same for every single thing, doesn't matter what it is. As soon as the leadership structure is gone, then there's nothing there. Now, what the great thing about like Star Wars: The Old Republic is, a guild can fall apart but can come back together very quickly, as long as people are willing to like wrap up around each other and do all that kind of stuff. And so that is the goal. Now, from where we're at right now, we've basically had a year of regrowth and self-improvement upon ourselves, instead of worrying about how we can give every ounce of our energy, time, money to all these other organizations, which we want to do. That's like our purpose, is to grow this game into a new title. Basically, we want SWTOR 2. We want SWTOR 2, but we want it on a new platform. Obviously it's going to outgrow the engine that it's prepared for right now. So what's the next variation of this game? What does it look like? I want it to be SWTOR 2, and I want it to be on Xbox and PC and PlayStation and your phone and whatever. Like, just how do we get there? Well, you got to get people really, really amped up to play this game. And this game, at the end of the day, has every single element that you would need, every single game mode that would make a game successful. The only thing it lacks is a hardcore, dedicated group of players that do the same thing over and over and over again, and then a lot of regrowth and new content, which they just transferred ownership last year. The ownership has been going really well from BioWare to Broadsword. Broadsword's forte is community development and content development. So the both have been actually shown since Broadsword's taken over. They haven't dropped the ball. They haven't lost numbers. They've come out with new content. Everything's been looking really swell. So how long is it until they get their big break with content? This next big update in content that they're coming up with, like, when is it going to happen? Well, that's going to happen soon. But until then, they've been doing an amazing, amazing job taking care of the community, answering the community's questions, taking on their, we want this to change, we want that to change, suggestions. They do really well with that. The forums are active. The dev group is out there, like, on the live streams more than they were before, really engaging with the customer. Like, it's going well. The big thing is, when is the new content going to come out? That's what every player wants to know. When's the next big update? When are we going to figure out about Malgus? When's that going to happen? They want something big. So you got to keep people interested in the game until then. That's what we've been doing. Now, here's the thing. We have realized that when we originally started this whole idea, it was great. We just didn't have the numbers for ourselves, the 121, to do it by ourselves. We had a small, tiny, tight-knit group of whatever you want to call it, recon troopers, whatever. Like, we were doing a really good job at pairing people together and then growing their numbers. But we didn't do it for ourselves because we figured that was the best way to get this all moving along, is you not be like some kind of giant organization. You just be a small group that works closely with people. That does not work. Get something bigger where you can run the operation yourself. So that's what we've been doing. And if you want to come join Star Wars: The Old Republic, get on it now, because the content's never been better. It's farther along than it's ever been. The servers are strong as far as the population. Like, people are playing on the Republic side like they weren't playing 10 years ago. So, I mean, that was at the beginning of the game.
For the record, which server is 121 on?
Really choose anyone you want. And here's the thing. I wouldn't limit people to saying join the
cross.
If you wanted to join us, of course. Well, it's Satil Shan. Satil Shan is our server. But I would say this, that each server has its own charm. And it really is like, what do you want to do with the game? Do you want to play story? Do you want to find people that love Star Wars and you want to be with those people? Or do you just want to come in and just, dress up a character with armor all day? I mean, really, I thought about all the different, like, it's got Starfighter, it's got PvP, it's got all this great stuff. It's big caveats at the end of the day. Is the story the community, and then like all of the resources and like the costumes and stuff. Like it's like having the world's biggest toy chest with an action figure. Like any action figure I want, like any costume, any weapon, anything, and I can make it. And you can customize it to the nth degree on like how each individual little color
for the record,
pairs with it.
For the record, we are not sponsored by BioWare.
No, I know we're not. No. We're not. We're just
you're acting like.
No, I know. Isn't that amazing? Because that's how I want to sponsor them. Like if you paid me, great. Like that's not about it. Like I understand like how Star Wars connects people on a bigger level. And yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to talk to the audience really quick? What we really want to do? We really want to expand. It's called the SWTOR Content Creator Program. We want to talk to them about expanding that to where you would accept more applicants and then put them through a filter process. And at the top is getting to work on the next title, or getting to work on the next update, or getting to be on this team or that team or this team. But more acceptance and more expectation, but the people will come as long as you give them the door open. You don't have to pay these people because I'm not getting paid. And we've been doing it for 13 years now or something like that. Like, it's not about that. It's about somebody's passion and what they want to do. There are so many people like us that are passionate. Give them the opportunity to work for you, and they will go to work. And then if you find them to be valuable, pay them. Because that's how life works. I have to pay bills, but I love your content, but you expect me to pay for your content and all this kind of stuff, which I'm glad to do. But like, if I'm a passionate and, ambitious person, give me an opportunity. That's how it should be. So expand that to people that want to do this kind of stuff. And I mean, let's put it this way. Other game titles already do it. I guess the best one to use is Bethesda. They do it. Todd Howard has people start out as modders and they go all the way to the top. So when somebody's ready to retire, somebody else is ready to take his chair. See what I mean? That's how this system should work for our game as well. And our game is the crossroads of the two canon. It is two canon, one universe, just like Joe said. And I think that is honestly the best part about Legends Con, is that you are promoting something that people would almost say, I don't even want to go over that bridge anymore. It's like, it's the same bloody bridge. The two cannot exist without each other. Canon of Disney cannot exist without Legends because they draw off of Legends to create their own content. And they've chosen specific timelines to stick into because they don't want to step on the toes of their heroes. That makes sense to me. Well, let's be honest. Let's be honest. The timeline, even if you call a title Tales of the Jedi, right? Imagine you're reading a book, Tales of the Jedi. It's in the past. Now I read a new book that's called Tales of the Jedi, but it's in the future. What's the difference? It's Tales of the Jedi. I guess my question at that point would be, how similar was the portrayal, right, compared to the books or to the comics or to whatever that piece of content was?
Are you talking about the Tales of the Jedi show and Tales of the Jedi comic? They have absolutely nothing to do with each other.
Zero to go with each other except for the title, which is my point. Let's look at any video game, right? Halo 1, Combat Evolved. Let's move on to Halo Infinite. Still Halo, totally different game. 100% totally different game, except for some of the mechanics to like how hunters move. They just don't seem to change the hunters ever in that game. Okay, but that's my point. Like it is something that they draw upon, but I don't think they're stepping on people's toes. I think that they are keeping to a certain time
they
frame.
Kind of cut off the foot in 2014.
But they're not really going back in time. They're staying with the High Republic and ABY. That's pretty much what they're doing. Like, there's nothing too bad with that. And even
are you talking about specifically to?
I'm talking about how Disney. I'm talking about how the Disney canon is largely based right now in its representation of itself in the timeline of ABY or the High Republic. Both time periods, that really haven't been that delved upon before. And if they were, like, for the Yuuzhan, well, let's think about the Yuuzhan Vong. The Yuuzhan Vong would be so freaking hard to cover all that. And honestly, all the ABY is a difficult subject because those were the first movies. So pretty much every piece of content that comes out of, Legends for the next how many years is going to be based on, like, Han and, Luke and all those guys. So that's my point. Like, we can't expect them to get all of that 100% correct. Also, some of the content is a little, it's a little adult. Some of it is just a little, but that's okay because, with the end of the day, that book is still there. You can still go buy that book. My point being, if you really want to just go ahead and save the two, stop worrying about the two. Stop worrying that there is two. Just forget about it. It is what it is. And people, at the end of the day, if you want to romanticize stuff, you can try your best. But ugliness creates its own romance, right? When I understand that an artist signs over his rights to his work to a degree, when he gives it to somebody and he's paid for it, I understand then that it doesn't matter how he feels about it. Eventually, the company that owns his work can do whatever they want with it, which is the impetus that people need to be mature. People need to grow up. You need to stop fighting with each other. Come into this tent, drink some wine.
Good luck. This is the Star Wars fan base.
That's our job. See, that's our mission. That's our mission. Everybody else in the world has your life. You can do, but for me in our house, and if I get to work with you guys, it would be what I would be suggesting that we do. That's what I want to do. I want to tell people you can be mature. And that's what Joe says in his interview. That's what I loved about Joe. Joe is like Moses, like with a staff, and he's got the 2 commandments, like in his hand, like the 10 commandments, the 2 slabs. He's got them in his hands, and he's telling people this is what God is saying. And people are mad at him for it. They're like, you say this. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, he's taking stuff.
How are you talking about, dude?
No, listen to me, homie. Listen to me. He even says it, that people are mad at him for, like, taking their content and turning it into something else. And my point is, like, but he's doing it in a way that is so tasteful. You haven't read it because it's so large. Read some of it. I only read 1 chapter about the Yuuzhan Vong, and I was blown away about his writing, about how he was able to take the stuff that I already knew about them and put them into its own content, and then expand upon the stuff that was unknown and tie it back in with the future, like in the past. Brilliance. And so a man that comes along and does that, why would you shut him down? Because it doesn't match up with your idea of the universe. Now, really, if you're a scientist, let's not get into that. It's just the facts that there are so many different universes and so many different, versions or whatever you want to call it, realities. Let's forget about all that stuff. Imagine that who the heck cares? You can still believe what you want to about your character. And at the end of the day, if somebody else's content that's really tastefully done and is really good, and if you're not willing to consume it, you probably should be able to judge it, right? Let's not sit there and say this political candidate is an idiot when you really don't even know them. Try to play the protection game or the defense game. The person that you hate the most, try to defend them. They're your best friend all of a sudden. Defend them. Find the things that are good about them. Do that, and all of a sudden, everything kind of, really, am I any better? No, you're not. So you as a person should, instead of throwing, rotten tomatoes and cabbage at somebody for trying something, sit down and read what they've got to say. And if you can read it and you can, like, find something you enjoy about it, just go from there, and then really consider, even the things you don't like, put yourself in the author's shoes. Why did he write it? Why did he do it that way? And you might surprise yourself how you start to think as somebody else. If that's not telepathy, I don't know what telepathy is. So everybody's running around basically with the telepathic ability to connect with one another, but we literally just put ourselves into corners. We take ourselves and we put ourselves into a metaphorical corner in our houses, in our cars, in rooms where people are dancing and drinking wine and celebrating, we're all sitting in the corner like, we're cooler than everybody else because we've got it all right. Do you? Oh, sit, have some fun. Have some fun. And
okay,
the
Ted, you're
world
starting
will
to
go
ramble. You're really
No, it's
really
not. It's not rambling. It really isn't rambling. It's really
and
just,
we're already
this
way
is
over
a
time as well.
I know this. Well, let's put it this way. This is not rambling. This is a preaching message to people to get together, listen to it. The words are not meaningless. It really is a word salad, but it's the same message because that's what meditation is. Meditate on these things. You guys love Star Wars. We love Star Wars. Legends is happening. It's the promotion of old content. The best way for this to go forward is Disney fans and Legends fans to go hand in hand and just go eat at the same table. Eat the food.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
That's it. That's the enough. That's the enough.
Okay,
right.
summer up.
Okay then. Well, that out of the way. Yeah, a lot of things went through my brain through with all that. Anyway, expect us to talk more about this stuff, and maybe expect in the future some guests from other circles in the Legends Con little family. That was a choice. That was a weird combination of words. Anyway, thank you for watching as always, and may the Force be with you always.
And also with you.